Good day, everyone. My name is Oluwake Misola. I'll be taking you through the first part of our group work, which is the role of digital HR system in recruitment and employee retention in primary schools within Nigeria. I'll be introducing my group members to you, which is Odetola Olashile Oluwapelumi, Otogbile Isioma Iva, Ifat Bente Akim, and Idris Kolawole Olalere. Our lectorial tutor is Leonie Osterban. So today I'll be taking the first part, the introduction, which is digital human resources system has emerged in recent times, which have shaped organizational practices in various sectors. Around the world, organizations are increasingly turning to digital human resource system to improve how they manage people. However, what their use can do for Nigerian primary education setting is relatively unknown. This system now plays a major role in recruitment, communication, performance tracking, and record keeping. The assessment, therefore, is a preliminary literature research and method section on topic titled The Role of Digital HR System Recruitment in Primary Schools Within Nigeria. It provides a literature review and method section which on the overall is able to show the existing gap in literature, the appropriate research questions, the objective and the research method for the intended study. So as I said earlier, we look closely at Nigerian primary school sector. We realize something interesting. What is the interesting part? Is the use of digital HR tools is still very under-researched and not clearly understood. It has not been clearly understood in this part of the world, which is Nigeria, Africa. Most primary schools still develop heavily on manual processes of recruitment. You can agree with me that the staff management, because most of my colleagues here are from Nigeria, so they can relate with what we are facing when it comes to staff retention in primary school. Our children come home almost every other day to talk about their teacher leaving due to workload and most cases poor record accuracy. So what our presentation does today is simply to highlight what is already known globally, what is missing in Nigerian context, and why this research is necessary to improve recruitment and retention in Nigerian primary schools. So we're looking at the literature review. The first one is global use of digital HR system in education. This system helps streamline recruitment workflows, automate repetitive tasks, and expand candidate pools through digital platforms such as school websites, recruiter portals, Miko, and recruiter portals. Miko and Mina Rahul 2025 stated this. So then we're looking at the second one, evidence of benefit from other countries. So globally, maybe education system, especially developed countries, they've embraced digital HR solutions. This helped to do what? Like take, for instance, the study in Romania by Miko and Mina Rahul 2025 is able to show that with the effective use of HIRS and ATS, there is improvement in advertised vacancies and digital platforms. The third one is emerging use in Nigerian primary schools. IDEAS 2025 have been able to show that digital HR systems are currently utilized to enhance staff recruitment, training, performance management, and communication. Now, identify research gap. Now, there is limited empirical research on how Nigerian primary schools specifically use digital HR system to support administrative and operational function. Now, the big question is, what about Nigeria? How do Nigeria be able to correlate with this? This is where we discovered a significant gap. Most Nigerian studies on digital HR focuses on banks, oil and gas, universities, and all. Very little research examine primary schools. We all agree that very little research examine primary schools. So what do? So even though this level of education is the foundation of the entire system of all these things. So because of this gap, we do not fully understand how primary school currently recruit teachers. So then, although digital technologies are spreading across education, evidence from primary school in Nigeria remains scarce. So the studies collectively have suggested that this system can facilitate recruitment satisfaction and retention, yet also highlight familiar challenges such as limited technical skills, worries about data privacy, and simple resistance to change. More research is needed to explore how schools actually use these tools. Especially, we have Bamboo HR, we have Zoho People, we have Coart HR, we have Google Workspace, we have Microsoft Teams, and Ebisco host day to day, and how such systems influence relationship motivation and broader culture within Nigerian and primary education. So that concludes my part of this presentation. I will now hand it over to my colleague, who will walk us through the research aims, objective, methodology, and other expected outcomes of the study. Thank you.
So I'll be talking about the research question. Our research question focuses on how do primary schools in Nigeria use digital HR systems to support administrative and operational functions? How do digital HR tools influence staff recruitment, performance monitoring, and education within Nigeria primary schools? What are the impacts of digital HR adoption on staff motivation, engagement, and retention in Nigeria primary education sector? What are the benefits and challenges to improving staff motivation and reducing turnover through digital HR system use in primary schools within Nigeria? I'll be moving on to the research objective, which is to identify how primary schools in Nigeria use digital HR systems to support administrative and operational functions, to evaluate how digital HR tools influence staff recruitment, performance, and monitoring the internal communication within Nigeria primary school, to examine the impact of digital HR adoption on staff motivation, engagement, and retention in Nigeria primary education sector, and to interrogate the benefits and challenges to improve staff motivation and reducing turnover through digital HR system used in primary schools within Nigeria. So I'll be leaving the next um, slide for my colleague Ifat.
Hello everyone. Now I'm going to talk about the research methodology. So to do this research, we followed a survey research method, and we applied the cross-sectional research design. And our targeted population are the HR personnel, administrative heads, and teaching staff to get our data. Next slide. Yeah. These groups are included because they are directly involved in the recruitment, staff management, and the teaching. And they can also give us the first-hand experiences by using the digital HR system. And through this, we can get the data. And they can also provide the relevant and quantifiable feasible responses that will be very helpful for our research. Then both public and primary schools in Nigeria will be included to capture and sectorial differences, and it will also provide a more holistic and grounded overview of DHRS adoption. Next slide, please. Now it's about sampling technique. For this study, we will adopt a stratified random sampling technique, and it will be based on geographical location like southwest, southeast, south Nigeria. And also we are focusing on two type of schools, which is public and private, and our respondents will be selected randomly to minimize the selection bias. And we are aiming to take the interviews of 200 participants, which will help us to get the enough statistical to get the enough data for correlational statistical analysis. Thank you everyone. Now my colleague will continue the rest.
Thank you very much. Now, for the data collection method now, we'll be using a systematically designed procedure which will ensure accuracy, ethical integrity, and reliability. Now, a questionnaire survey will develop a questionnaire which will be used for collection process, which will follow a systematically and ethical procedure to ensure accuracy and reliability, just like I said earlier. Now, each of these we construct will be by various pointers through close-ended questionnaire items, such as strongly disagree, strongly agree. It is noted like these Likert scales are particularly effective now in capturing degrees of perception, which similarly allows for parametric statistics analysis once responses are aggregated. Now, prior to this large-scale dispersion, the questionnaire will firstly subject to the academic rigor of pilot testing. After all, now the feedback that we get from it will help us to be able to ensure efficiency, broad accessibility, and cross reduction from the questionnaire that we get. Now, please, next slide, please. Now, for the justification of the design, now quantitative research will help test the hypothesis from existing theories about the digital HR system for recruitment, efficiency, and employee retention. Then the next one will be for quantitative research design, which will provide efficiency, objectivity, and scalability. Now, the SPS also will be very useful for both descriptive and inferential statistics. This will help us to get the basic characteristics of the collected data, which such as frequencies, percentage, means, and standard deviation. And also, it will help us to be able to pilot our graphs and tables properly so as to get the expected outcome after our questionnaire has gone through the necessary procedures, through the necessary people who are going to attempt these questionnaires. Now, I'll leave the ethical consideration to my next colleague.
Okay, for the ethical consideration, during the course of this project, it will not take ethical standards will be taken for leverage, because the respondents will not be compiled to the part of the survey research as informed consent will be electrically retrieved from the participants before they fill the questionnaire. Likewise, their names and identity will not be revealed in compliance with the Nigerian regulation. The information they provide will be stored in a well-protected digital server, as it can only be used for strictly academic purpose. So for the conclusion, at the end of this research, we examine the role of digital HR system in recruitment in primary schools within Nigeria. So with the above research, we were able to provide a literature review, which was able to show the gaps in the existing literature. The gap identified the different existing literature suggesting the digital HRO system that can help with recruitment, satisfaction, and retention. And also, it also highlights the familiar obstacles, such as the technical skills, and then data bias, and then sample resistance to changes. And also, during the course of the research, we were able to identify where the intended study became particularly useful, considering the need to explore how schools actually use these various tools like Bamboo HROs, Google Workspace, and the Microsoft Team to get results. And also, the system influences the relationship and the retention of the bordered culture within the Nigeria primary school education system. In terms of the methodology, the research identified the quantitative research methodology to be the most suitable tool for this intended project. This would entail the administration of the structured questionnaire, which will be used to collect response data from the intended participants. Below is the various references we use during the course of this project. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you,
Thank you.
everyone. Thank you.
Bye.
I'm trying to